In the ancient land of kings and sages, where battles were fought and wisdom was passed through generations, there lived a queen unlike any other. Her name was Mandalasa. She was not known for political power or conquests. She did not command armies or rule through fear. Her strength was quieter and far more powerful. She ruled not through swords, but through songs. Songs that taught the soul, not just the mind. Songs that awakened the eternal self in a newborn child. Songs that planted the seeds of liberation, even in a cradle. Mandalasa's story is found in the Markandeya Purana, one of the oldest spiritual texts of India. She was the wife of King Ritadhwaja, a noble and virtuous ruler. Though she lived in a royal palace, her heart belonged to the eternal truth, the knowledge of the self. She was a spiritually awakened woman, a yogini who had realized the truth of the universe, that all names, all forms, all roles are temporary. That the true self, the Atman, is pure, eternal, and untouched by pain, pride, or possession. But it was not her spiritual knowledge alone that made her extraordinary. It was how she shared it. She became a mother, and with that, began the story that made her immortal. The spiritual lullaby. When her first son was born, the court expected joy, celebration, and royal ambition. The ministers hoped the child would grow into a warrior prince, skilled in politics and battle. But Mandalasa had other plans. As she held her newborn in her arms, she did not sing of kingdoms or lineage. She did not whisper promises of power or legacy. Instead, she sang these words: "You are pure. You are formless. You are untouched by birth or death. Why do you cry, O child of the Supreme? You are the eternal soul." Her lullabies were filled with Vedantic truth. Day after day, she reminded the child, "You are not this body. You are not this name. You are not a prince or a servant. You are the infinite self, beyond all duality." The child grew up listening to these words. And as he matured, his interest turned not to weapons or politics, but to spiritual wisdom. At a young age, he renounced the world and became an ascetic, walking into the forest to seek truth. This happened not once, but 3 times. Mandalasa had 3 sons, and each one, guided by her songs of truth, chose the path of renunciation over rulership. A conflict of dharma. By the time her 4th son was born, the king, though wise and supportive, began to worry. Who would rule after him? Who would protect the people? He approached Mandalasa and gently said, "My queen, your wisdom is precious. But this time, let the child grow as a prince. Let him know his duties before he seeks the beyond." Mandalasa listened. She agreed, but she made one simple request. "Let me raise him," she said, "in my own way, but I will guide him to his role." And so, with balance and grace, she raised her 4th son, Alarka, not with total detachment, but with inner awareness. She taught him about the duties of a king, but also the impermanence of power. She prepared him to rule, but reminded him never to identify with the throne. When he came of age, Alarka became a wise and just ruler, grounded not in pride, but in humility. He ruled the kingdom with compassion, and eventually, when the time was right, he too chose the spiritual path, not as rejection, but as completion. The legacy of Mandalasa. Mandalasa is remembered not for what she ruled, but for what she awakened, the light of self-knowledge in the tender heart of a child. She showed the world that motherhood is not just care, it is consciousness. She proved that a woman does not need to renounce the world to live in wisdom. She can live in the palace and still be free. Her lullaby became a mantra of liberation, sung not just to children, but to the sleeping mind of humanity. In her simple cradle songs lay the deepest truths of Advaita Vedanta, non-duality, oneness, and the eternal self. She taught that the best gift a mother can give her child is not gold, not fame, not success, but the realization of their true nature. Mandalasa, the queen, the yogini, the divine mother, remains a timeless symbol of awakened parenting and inner wisdom. She reminds us that even in a world full of noise, we can speak softly and still be heard for eternity. That even from a palace, one can teach the way to freedom. That the voice of a mother can shape not just a child, but the destiny of a soul. And so her song still echoes, not in the courtrooms of kings, but in the hearts of seekers, in the minds of those who ask, "Who am I, truly?"